just in time. I believe I've isolated the algorithm for making friends.
Sheldon, there is no algorithm for making friends.
Well, hear him out. If he's really onto something, we could open a booth at Comic-Con, make a fortune.
See, my initial approach to Kripke had the same deficiencies as those that plagued Stu the Cockatoo when he was new at the zoo.
Stu the Cockatoo?
Yes, he's new at the zoo.
It's a terrific book. I've distilled its essence into a simple flowchart that will guide me through the process.
Have you thought about putting him in a crate while you're out of the apartment?
Hello, Kripke. Yeah, Sheldon Cooper here. It occurred to me that you hadn't returned any of my calls because I hadn't offered any concrete suggestions for pursuing our friendship. Yeah, perhaps the two of us might share a meal together. Yeah, I see. Well, then perhaps you'd have time for a hot beverage. Popular choices include tea, coffee, cocoa. I see. No, wait, don't hang up yet. But what about a recreational activity? I bet we share some common interests. You tell me an interest of yours. Really? On actual horses? Tell me another interest of yours. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I have no desire to get in the water till I absolutely have to. Tell me another interest of yours.
Uh-oh, he's stuck in an infinite loop.
I can fix it.
It's interesting, but isn't ventriloquism by definition a solo activity? Yeah. Tell me another interest of yours. Is there any chance you like monkeys? Yeah, what is wrong with you? Everybody likes monkeys. Hang on, Kripke. A loop counter and an escape to the least objectionable activity. Howard, that's brilliant. I'm surprised you saw that.
Gee, why can't Sheldon make friends?
All right, Kripke, that last interest strikes me as the least objectionable, and I would like to propose that we do that together. Tomorrow. Yes, I'll pay. All right, goodbye. All right. Time to learn rock climbing.
Welcome to the MCAT Multimedia Series, a MCAT analysis of Amos Tversky's and Daniel Kahneman's Judgment Under Uncertainty. Can mental shortcuts cause inaccurate decision-making? Israeli cognitive psychologists Tversky and Kahneman sought to determine whether the use of mental shortcuts when decision-making could lead to inaccurate results caused by cognitive bias. They defined these perceptual and judgment tendencies or mental shortcuts as heuristics and sorted them into three categories: the representativeness heuristic, the availability heuristic, and the anchoring and adjustment heuristic. They wrote that these three heuristics lead people to make assumptions and judgments which are based on inaccurate or misleading data. Representativeness is a tendency for people to evaluate objects or people based on characteristics they previously attributed to a certain type of person or object. Availability means a person judges an event as more likely to occur if they can easily recall prior incidences similar to that event. Anchoring and adjustment means that people will anchor onto an early estimate of a quantity, assume that it is a good estimate, and then adjust away from that amount. To demonstrate the availability heuristic in action, let's consider media coverage of shark attacks. Whenever a human is attacked by a shark, it is always front-page news, as the media tends to report rare or fear-inducing news over a mundane or repetitive story. A family is planning a beach break for the weekend, but in the days before they are due to leave, the parents see several news reports of shark attacks, and they start to worry about whether they will be at risk. Their expectations of the regularity of shark attacks have been affected. The reportings are readily available in their memory and can easily be called upon. They therefore may overestimate the likelihood of an attack and decide not to go to the beach thanks to the cognitive bias caused by the media. Despite the increased news reporting shark attacks, the probability of one actually occurring is still minuscule. A car accident on the journey to the location is more likely, but the recent reportings of shark attacks are more available in the parents' memories, and these availability heuristics lead to a greater assumed likelihood of a future occurrence, influencing their behavior. Tversky and Kahneman acknowledge that not everyone displays heuristic effects in the same way, but the empirical evidence they've gathered to support their theory of these day-to-day mental shortcuts demonstrate that this is a cultural norm. Participants in their studies were often inaccurate in predicting the probability of events or outcomes due to a natural over-reliance on heuristics. A more detailed examination of these ideas can be found in the McCat analysis.
Language sets us apart. Other animals communicate, but they don't have anything approaching the sophisticated grammar of human languages. How is it that we learn to speak and think in language so easily? Young children become adept in a new language very quickly. Since the dawn of philosophy, thinkers have argued about whether or not we have innate ideas, whether we are born knowing things as Plato believed, or rather as John Locke and other empiricists argued, the mind is a blank slate on which experience writes. An American linguist, Noam Chomsky, gave a twist to this debate in the 1960s by demonstrating that children learning to speak just don't have enough information to form the complex grammatical maneuvers that allow them to generate unlimited new and original sentences. Yet they do so with ease. There's a poverty of stimulus. Something else must be going on. Chomsky's hypothesis was that there are inborn structures in our brain, what he called a language acquisition device, or LAD, which gives us a natural propensity to organize the spoken language that we hear in various grammatical ways. Without that, we couldn't get started as language learners. If he's right, language structure is hardwired as a kind of universal grammar. Our slates have been written on before we emerged from the womb.